After a frustrating Game 3, the Winnipeg Jets want to put the frustrations behind them, taking on the St. Louis Blues for Game 4 at the Enterprise Center in this Western Conference quarterfinals. The Jets are up 2-1 in this best-of-7 series, but they struggled and faltered in every facet in their 7-2 loss to the St. Louis Blues on Game 3. They were down 2-0 just 3 minutes and 11 seconds in the first period, and they never got back into this game. Adam Lowry noted that the key for the Jets to getting back is execution and playing fast. The Blues, on the other hand, are riding a wave of confidence off of Thursday's game. They know the Jets are going to adjust, and they'll try to be ready for that. Hello everyone, I am Alec Nava. Welcome to St. Louis at the Gateway City for Game 4 of this year's Stanley Cup Playoff Series. In 2025, the Western Conference Quarterfinal. The Jets were talking about getting out to good starts for the series, and the lack of doing so hurt them badly in Game 3. And the start has to be there in Game 4. They started off slowly in each of the 3 playoff games against St. Louis, despite winning the first 2 by a 2-goal margin in Game 1, 5-3, and a 1-goal margin in Game 2, 2-1. Lowry continued to note, we need to try to get to our game quicker than they do, but I think the belief in this group is in the way that we defend, the structure we have. We don't have a regular season record like we do about being able to bounce back, about coming into big games and rising to the occasion. For St. Louis, they got a bulk of their scoring for their top line between Pavel Buchnevich, Robert Thomas, and Jimmy Snuggerud. Buchnevich entered this postseason with just 1 goal in 22 career playoff games. He had his first career hat trick in the last game. He has 6 points, including 3 goals and 3 assists through this 3-game span. Thomas with 5 points, a goal and 4 assists, and Snuggerud with 2 points, a goal and an assist. Cam Fowler had himself a 5-point night last game around with a goal and 4 assists. Thomas added 4 assists to that record on his track. All 4 assists came in Game 3. The Jets had a hard time stopping this line in Game 3, and the Blues would try to take advantage of home ice and last change with this core 4 again. If we're looking towards individual performances or teams that need to, or players that need to step up, we go on to this report. Heading into Game 4, the Jets were down 2-0 just 3:11 into the first period. They never got back into this game. There's 3 observations for these 3 games, that these 2 Central Division rivals embody playoff hockey. From the moment the puck dropped in Game 1, both teams threw their weight around. Lots of massive hits all over the ice in every game. Logan Stanley and Luke Schenn, the third pairing for Winnipeg, set the tone for the series, and the Blues answered the call. They registered 30 hits in the first period alone in Game 3, and the 2 teams combined for 131 hits. That's exactly what you want to see at this time of year. Both teams sacrificing their bodies and delivering bone-crushing hits. That's why playoff hockey is the best. Home ice advantage is huge for these 2. Jets fans set the bar sky high in the playoffs with the whiteout. It's a big tradition that brings so much energy and life to the players. It's shaping up to be a series where the home team might win every game. Winnipeg took care of business at home, winning both games at Canada Life Center. Blues fans were ready for Game 3 and brought the noise. And the Blues fed off the crowd's energy, coming out flying, beating Connor Hellebuyck 3 times in the first period and 6 times overall to chase him out midway through the third period. This is a huge talking point, but it's a big concern for Winnipeg because Hellebuyck has just 1 win in his last 8 road playoff games. The Jets are going to need him to be sharp from the start in Game 4, or this series could be heading back to Winnipeg tied at 2 apiece. And that lone road playoff game win for Hellebuyck came in Game 1 against the Vegas Golden Knights 2 years ago. The star players have been the star players as well. In winning in the playoffs, you need your top players to perform. So far, they have. For Winnipeg, Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele have been their best players, and they haven't missed a beat from the regular season. They took over in Game 1, willing the Jets to victory. And they won the game for the Jets in Game 2. They'll need them to continue to dominate in order to win this series. For the Blues, most of the offense came in part of the top 6, especially Thomas and Buchnevich. Large part of that production has come on the power play, where they have 6 goals on the man advantage, and the Stars are stepping up when it matters the most. Winnipeg's looking to take a stranglehold in this series. The Blues are trying to avoid putting themselves on the brink of elimination. And as for the Blues, as we're looking deeper right into them, they found life after the 7-2 dismantling of the Jets. Something about the building that feeds off of them, the energy. They're a completely different team at Enterprise Center, up and down the roster. And the 18,000 Blues fans are blowing the roof off this place. They have a franchise record 12-game winning streak to end the regular season. And you add Game 3's onslaught, it's at 13 straight wins. Essentially so. That's a 12-game winning streak at home to end the regular season. If you add Game 3's onslaught, it's at 13 consecutive. And from the opening whistle, this team feeds off the energy of the home crowd. Sea of blue at the stands, rooting and cheering for the Blues. And the goal song blasting for the speakers. The team does not feel the pressure to put on a show for their fans. They feel the support, uses the boost for their confidence here. So we go on to our projected lineups, beginning with the St. Louis Blues, the Western Conference's second wild card. Normally, it is the visiting team that we do our projected lineups first. However, we do the lower seed first. They're the home team, but their lineups look like this. Pavel Buchnevich, Robert Thomas, Jimmy Snuggerud on the top line. Jake Neighbors, Braden Shen, Jordan Kyrou on the second line. Matthew Joseph, Oscar Sundquist, Zach Bodut on the third line. Joseph back into the lineup. He replaces Alexander Texier. Alexei Toropchenko, Radek Faksa, and Nathan Walker on the fourth line. Defense pairs go like this. Cam Fowler with Colton Parayko, Philip Broberg with Justin Falk, and Nick Leddy with Tyler Tucker. Jordan Binnington is once again the starter. Joe Hofer is the backup. For Winnipeg, their lineup is like this. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Alex Iafallo. Nino Niederreiter, Vladislav Nemestikov, Cole Perfetti. Morgan Barron, Adam Lowry, and Mason Appleton. And to round out, Brandon Tanev, David Gustafson, Jared Anderson-Dolan. On the defense pairs, it's Josh Morrissey with Dylan DeMello, Dylan Sandberg with Neil Pionk, Logan Stanley with Luke Shen. Starter is Connor Hellebuck. Backup is Eric Comrie. The healthy scratches are as follows. For St. Louis, it's Alexander Texier, as aforementioned, Ryan Suter, and Matthew Kessel. Dylan Holloway is week to week with his lower body injury. For Winnipeg, Dominic Toninato, Hayden Fleury, Kyle Miller, and Ville Heinola. However, there is a development. Gabe Vilardi is a game-time decision as he wore a regular jersey at practice on Saturday but was skating as an extra, but he did put in on power play drills. DeMello's returning after missing Game 3 of an illness. Colin Miller is back as a healthy scratch. Barron and Tanev flip lines as Tanev goes down to the fourth line, Barron to the third line. Gustafson slides to the middle, and Joseph is expected to play after being a healthy scratch in the past 2 games. Suter once again is a healthy scratch after playing all 82 regular season games with the Blues. Heading into this game, a lot of storylines here and a lot of pressure on the Winnipeg Jets because there's some concerns that have reinvigorated after Connor Hellebuck laid a stinker in Game 3, allowing 6 goals. Question is if he can rise to the occasion. Not known as a playoff performer, but he did lead the United States to a Four Nations Face-Off Championship game appearance. In his time there, between the 3 round-robin games that the U.S. played, he played twice, allowing just 1 goal in each game. He allowed 3 goals in the championship game. That game ended in overtime with a Connor McDavid winner. It's Game 4 here in St. Louis at the Gateway City. A sea of blue here in the eastern side of Missouri. And along the border between Missouri and Illinois. So it's a wonderful afternoon here at St. Louis. The fans are excited and they're ready for playoff hockey to be here once again. And that they are witnessing right now. They believe this year's Blues team can match up with the Jets team that won the President's Trophy. And that they are right now. The physicality is ramped up to a ton. Hellebuck has allowed at least 4 goals in 9 of his last 12 playoff games. He needs a bounce back because despite being a dominant regular season goalie, the playoffs have not been kind to him. His last 4 home playoff starts, 161 GAA, 97, and over 950 save percent for Jordan Binnington. We're underway here from St. Louis. Let's get rocking and rolling. I am Alec Nava on the play-by-play to get things started. As this is chipped aside to the far corner. As Fox is there. Centering pass went wide. Nathan Walker tried to get the party started. Connor restarts, and already the Blues off to a blazing hot start. On the chase down is Parayko, who beats out his man. Backhands to Toropchenko. Toropchenko through the far side, leads one off, and is dumped into the near corner where Morrissey is there. Away from Robert Thomas. Picked up by Neil Pionk. Over at the far side, and gliding down on the right side is Morgan Barron. Tried to drop it, but can't. Justin Falk, the ex-Carolina Hurricane, backhands one up for Pavel Buchnevich. This line is built in unstoppable for the Blues in Game 3. See if that can keep up here in Game 4. Slot shot, backhander! Made his way to Hellebuck as one player goes colliding into the slot. That was Broberg. One of two players off-sheeted by Doug Armstrong, alongside the injured Dylan Holloway. Both of them having career years. A long time coming here as this was deflected up front. They tried to get the early momentum for St. Louis on the backhander as Nathan Walker was gliding up front, and he went up and over. That's actually Broberg who went up and over off a hip check from Dylan DeMello. This defenseman can score, and they showed that in last year's Stanley Cup final run with the Edmonton Oilers. Off the face-off, it is attempted to dump down by the Jets. Niederreiter wanted to guide that towards Binnington, collected at the near corner by Nemestikov. Perfetti glides it back to the right point. Here's Morrissey. Deep shot will be gloved down by Binnington. No redirection from Nemestikov, who was out front. It's an easy save by Binnington as he tracked a long shot from Josh Morris. He has very good hands and very good control of where the puck is. He rarely doesn't miss it. He rarely misses a beat. And when he's on, he is on, especially when it's playoff time. Now Nemestikov wins the faceoff, gets it back over to Morrissey. Long shot. There's another save by Binnington. So it's a quick whistle. Wanted to keep this one moving. But so far, the pace has really slowed down here in this first period of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So Binnington and Hellebuck, they were the two goaltenders who faced off in the Four Nations Championship game. Hellebuck with the Americans, Binnington with the Canadians. Blues win the faceoff and they clear this out through center. Picked up by Neighbors and spin around for the near side. Braden Shen chasing this one down. Picked up at the far half boards and kept it by Kyrou. Might have been tripped up. And this will be collected by Cam Fowler. Fowler will send this around the near boards. Hellebuck tried to touch it up and he will. So the Blues will go to the power play. Once again, they've been unstoppable in Game 3. We'll see if this firepower can keep up here in Game 4. It'll be a trip against Vladislav Nemestikov as he'll make his way to the box. He got around Jordan Kyrou. His leg stuck out onto Kyrou, which is not what the Blues needed or wanted out of... Not what the Jets needed or wanted from their top six. Scott Arniel, 2-0 series record. In a tie series, and now here it is. Vladislav Nemestikov, 2 for tripping, and Luke Shed tried to clear, couldn't get it out. Thomas tried to get the one in front. Snuggerud deflected this one wide. Thomas tied up at the far corner. Going back, and that might be another trip. Zach Bolduc was right there. Couldn't get his feet set. Now onto the left point. Fowler. With Lowry onto him, gets this down low, and now here is Thomas. We'll get this one backwards up. Pass it to Swat. Gonna get there. Tight shot. Missed it wide. The Blues power play 6 of 15 this series. They've been lights out. See if they can score again under 16 power play. Drop back all the way. Snuggerud. One-timer left side. Hellebuck got all of that one. Alex, I have followed there to try to adjust the angle. Another offensive zone faceoff, which is crucial here in this stage. Another sharp angle as this was fired from way inside. Zach Bolduc and I have followed. He may have gotten away with one as he tripped up Bolduc. So we save 5 on 4. 2 minutes and 24 seconds into the first period. And the faceoff is to the right of Hellebuck. Thomas. Buchnevich is on right wing, but it's won to the near out boards by the Jets. They clear it down. Binnington will lead this one out for Fowler as they'll all start up. The Blues will change players here on this power play halfway through the man advantage. Jordan Kyrou tried to cut to the net, tried to wrap it around, and Hellebuyck got off that. And the Jets banked this one off the wall and clear. Nothing yet for these two teams. St. Louis will start off in their own zone. Gliding up for the near side is Shen. Dropping this one off for Justin Falk, who leads the way. Up the middle, this one bounced off the wall and is collected up by the Jets. Kyrou blocked off the clear. On the near corner, Shen could have handled it. Well, Braden Shen it is. His brother Luke backhands it all the way out. These two brothers play on opposite teams. There was a time when they were teammates, but that was back when they were on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now Braden Shen is the captain of the St. Louis Blues. Offside are St. Louis. And Luke Shen has been a reliable defensive defenseman on the bottom pair. His true breakout was when he was on the top pair on the Canucks with Quinn Hughes. And that's when he made his presence felt as a stay-at-home defensive defenseman. Was previously a top 5 pick with the Toronto Maple Leafs. No forced defensive play. Never an offensive guy. The Jets PK have killed off just 60% of their penalties. The Blues scoring on 40% of their power plays. But the Jets might have the last laugh here on this sequence unless if St. Louis can get on the board. Up the middle is Kyrou. Fired around Parayko. And at the far half quarter, DeMello couldn't get this one out as it bounced off. Power play over. Parayko to Kyrou. Now Shen. Delivers one out for Jake Neighbors, who looks on his backhand, tries to spin it backwards. Parayko kept it inside. Here's Broberg, who lost one deep. That is wide. On the corner, collected up by Kyrou. And Shen will bounce the one for Kyrou, firing. And that is off the pad, I believe, of Hellebuyck. Might have went wide. I'm not sure if it got a piece. And Nick Leddy will restart. The former New York Islander and Chicago Blackhawk. Up the near side, takes a bounce. Luke Shen chasing after, has to fend off Torpchenko. Through the far corner. Wacky at it with the sticks. Luke Shen comes away with it. Morrissey. Up the near side for Shifley. Mark Shifley centers it up, intercepted, and lead the way right back is Nathan Walker. Up the far side, Walker tried to center one off, but they went off a skate. Parayko tried to keep this one in and does. Pass to the right point, here's Falk, and on for the left point, left circle, firing, and that's blocked. Fowler wrestles down Leddy. That allows Shifley to get the puck and feeds it up for Kyle Connor. Game-winning goals in the first 2 games of the series. As it set aside, Binnington will play this one out. On his backhand, he'll give it to Torpchenko. Torpchenko couldn't handle it as it's kept aside by Sandberg. Deep shot, takes a block, and it goes out through center. Sandberg will leave it out for Connor, and at the left side, the circle is Shifley, who drops back for Perfetti. Cole Perfetti back to the left point. There's a broken stick on the ice. Sandberg, Pionk, pirouettes, blocked in front, traffic there. Broberg cleared this one over to the near corner. And leaving this up is Bolduc. Tried to set this one down, but there was a jet in the way. Connor sends it backwards for Sandberg. Lofted it inside for Pionk, and starting up is Nemestikov. Took the penalty early. The Jets kill it off, and Nemestikov just sends this to the glove hand of Binnington. The St. Louis Blues riding hot momentum that they had in the end of the regular season. And that momentum thanks to head coach Jim Montgomery. Coaching staff consisting of associate coach Steve Ott, assistant coaches Claude Julien and Mike Weber, goaltending coach David Alexander. Julien used to be the head coach of both the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens, winning a Stanley Cup with Boston. And Montgomery leading his guys from the bench. A fiery coach. And one that he can relate with the players. Nemestikov tossed out the face-off dot. That will slot Perfetti in the circle. He can take face-offs too. Tie up on the draw. It'll be won by the Blues, Robert Thomas. Parayko up the far side of the boards. This takes a bounce and out onto the Jets bench. And the Jets coaching staff consisting of Scott Arnio, who took over for the now retired Rick Bowness. Assistant coaches Marty Johnson, Davis Payne, Dean Shainoff, and goaltending coach Wade Flaherty. In the Blues regular season, 19-4-3 since the Four Nations break, tops in the league. 3.81 goals per game, which is tops. And 2.31 goals against per game, tied for third. And they had the sixth best power. They were tied for the sixth best power play since the Four Nations break. They've been on fire. And the linesmen Kyle Murchison and C.J. Murray had to separate Jared Anderson-Dolan from what I believe is, can't get a number, but I think it may be, was that Alex Texier? I believe it is Texier. He's in the lineup in place of Matthew Joseph, who's projected to be in the lineup as the Jets win it. First playoff appearances 2022 in the 46th in franchise history, on a hot run to end the year. It gives a lot of vibes to the Gloria years. Anderson-Dolan dodges a check, got to send fire one off of Binnington. Tanner keeps this one alive at the near quarter, but the Blues will get this one. Sundqvist tries to get it out. It bounces onto the center ice and deflected back in by Anderson-Dolan. Bloody in pursuit of the puck through the far quarter. Up for Sundqvist, and near the Blues bench is bounced up and dumped down by Texier. Hellebuyck plays this one out as the Blues and Jets make changes. Morrissey will play this behind his net. The Shen line is out there. And up the near side is bounced up. Too far for Mason Appleton. Third line's out there for the Jets. It's collected up by Barron. Loose stick on the ice. That belongs to one of the Blues. His shot went wide of Hellebuyck, and there's a loose helmet on the ice as well. Sandberg keeps the one alive. Lowry lost it, but it's collected by one of his teammates, but it floats back out the center. The Jets have to wait, and Pionk will enter back. Pionk, guys went to the far corner, bounced off the broken stick. Jets tried to keep this one alive, but it goes to Neighbors. 7-1, the hits in favor of St. Louis. Back is Pionk, who'll collect it with the feed from Hellebuyck. Neil Pionk fires up for the far side of the boards. Slides by Binnington. Parayko couldn't pick it up. Cotter could. Cotter on the backhand. Bounced off of Binnington. Robert Thomas recollects it up for the Blues. And here's Parayko leading a 3-on-2 rush. Baseball batted down. And Parayko off the near side end boards. Up for Luke Shen. That was play of a high stick. Jimmy Snuggerud. And so that'll blow the whistle. No score here. Past the 7-minute mark. Alex Nava here with you. We'll be right back. St. Louis, Stanley Cup victory in 2019. Hockey runs through the city. There's some legends that have played for the St. Louis Blues. And include Al McInnes with his blazing one-timer and a blazing slap shot. They can still fire it. Showed that in some NHL All-Star games. It's the Jets, they controlled his face-off. That's one area in which they struggled with throughout the series. Shifley gets taken down, lose the puck. Through the far sides is Fowler for Parayko. These two have formed a strong top pairing in St. Louis. Fowler was acquired a trade, and there was a whistle for a penalty. Fowler acquired a trade from the Anaheim Ducks. By the St. Louis Blues switched jersey numbers from number 4 to 17. The number 4 is taken by Letty. The Shifley was going down on the ice, as is believed, and it may be Buchnevich going off. It turns out it's roughing. Whether he missed on Shifley, but then it turns out he went towards Shifley as well, and Shifley got dazed by that. Whether or not that Winnipeg should have also been called for a penalty may also be either question, but this could go either way. So far, the only penalty is on Buchnevich for roughing. Had a hat trick on Thursday's game. So the Jets power play will go to work. Shifley has 11 power play goals. They need to chime here. Top power play consisting of Fowler, Connor, Shifley, Perfetti, and Morrissey. Watch for Shifley at the bumper. He wins the faceoff, getting this back to Morrissey and to the left for Connor. Josh Morrissey twisted twirls around for the pass as Foxa was pursuing. These two are forcing Foxa to work. Deep shot was gobbled down by Jordan Binnington on the deep shot from the top of the right point. Francois St. Laurent and Kendrick Nicholson are referees. The alternate referee is Jake Brink. Alternate linesman is Killian McNamara. Here's uniform numbers 8 and 30 for St. Laurent and Nicholson. Murray and Murchison are linesmen 68-79. Jets power play this series is 2-10. As this is cleared down by the Blues, Hellebuck leaves it behind for Morrissey. Morrissey to the far side on the end boards to Connor, and this will be started up by Shifley. Kyle Connor to Cole Perfetti. Perfetti waits with this, but he is glide away. Jets keep this one in the zone. IFL on the left side for Morrissey. Going back is Perfetti. Finds Connor down low. Kyle Connor rake wide, and that missed Shifley. Morrissey keeps this one alive. Shifley backhands one around for Connor as they trade places. Kyle Connor looks to the left circle. Goes down low for Shifley. They play crisscross. Applesauce. Connor goes back onto the point where it's Morrissey. Kyle Connor one more time as he opens up room for himself. Tic-tac-toe! Jordan Binnington, what a stop! He was able to get that one a rake wide pass from Mark Shifley, in which Cole Perfetti made himself available. This Winnipeg power play unit gave the best opportunity that they've had as Perfetti tried to elevate that as a pushing and shoving afterwards from Tyler Tucker and Alex Iafallo. Tucker, who replaces Ryan Suter in the lineup. But what a passing play for the Jets. What a save by Binnington. Known for elevating his game in the playoffs, as this is a tie-up off the draw. Nemestikov tried to get this one. The Blues tried to clear once, but this is a blessing in disguise. It's a 2-on-1. Hustling back is Niederreiter. Trying to go around the Blues. Cross-ice pass, and the Blues want a penalty. They're not going to get one. Here's a 3-on-2 the other way. Morgan Barrett shoots this one through the near side. Tie-up as kept inside the left circle. And back to the left point is Neil Pionk. Fakes the shot as this was blocked in front. Going rink wide on this setup. Bouncing puck off a block pass, and it goes back for Niederreiter. Kerwin drag move. Binnington was there. Dano Niederreiter keeps his one alive for Mason Appleton. Another shot. Binnington got that one. Still in the zone. Niederreiter keeps it one around. 10 seconds on the power play. Nemestikov to Pionk. Oscar Sundqvist trying to watch these two players. 5 seconds. This was fired wide intentionally for Niederreiter. Here's Pionk. Long shot. Covered by Binnington, and that ends the power play. As the penalty of Buchnevich expires. 10-3 the shots in favor of Winnipeg. His power play, and he shut down as the penalty kill did its job. Almost was a cross-ice pass, but Robert Thomas was tied up. There was a lot of empty space at the back, and Blues fans are irate as they won a penalty for that shove at the end. There was some looks for the Jets, but they were all closed off. In Bates' last 12 home games, the Blues have won them all. Exactly 2 goals against and a .921 save percentage in that 12-game home winning streak for Binnington. Radek Fox and Adam Lowry to the right of Binnington's is won by the Jets. Sandberg around down low for Tanev. 4 flights out there for the Jets. Jared Anderson-Dolan, who had the first goal for the Jets last game, fired around to the far side and taken up by Jake Neighbors. Neighbors gets close stopped by Neil Pionk. That allows Dylan Sandberg to pick it up, trying to clear it down for the zone. Tanev's tripped up, and a penalty against the Blues again. That will set the Jets back to the power play, and it will send Tyler Tucker to the box, as Tanev used his speed to his advantage. Tanev is sped up, but Tucker stuck his foot out and got a piece of Tanev that tripped him up. And that was obvious because that was clear as day a trip, easiest call to make. And Tucker cannot believe it. So 22 seconds separate these two power plays. Another tie-up. The Blues will get this face-off, and it'll glide it down the near side of the boards as Parayko can't get a shooting opportunity. Hellebuck plays this out for Morrissey. Pavel Buchnevich pressuring. Up the far boards and then delivered back. Leading the way is Scheifele. Scheifele feeding into the near side boards for Iafallo and then back to Scheifele. Back to the left point is Josh Morrissey. Morrissey rink wide to Perfetti. And then back for Morrissey. Long shot. Went wide. Rushed for the puck. Fowler can't get this one out. Kyle O'Connor keeping his head at the near half boards. Connor will look back for Morrissey. Perfetti fakes the one-timer. Goes it back to Morrissey. Connor looking for Scheifele. Tried to pass it across for Perfetti, but that was blocked. Connor. Morrissey. One-timer is blocked. Scheifele. Back to Connor. And Morrissey one more time. Morrissey walking the point. Perfetti holds the top of the right circle. Shot this one, and that was blocked. Parayko tried to clear again, and he did it. A minute deep into the power play for the second time for the Jets. Neither side could convert on the man advantage so far. The Blues are coming close to scoring on special teams, albeit it was shorthanded. Nemestikov being down the middle side. Nemestikov pass blocked, but is held inside by Barron. Morgan Barron gets decked by Sundqvist, and an errant pass for Pionk. Pionk has to hustle back, baits his way out of his crease. Bennington delivers it around over to the near side boards for Niederreiter. Niederreiter walks back and it moves up the middle. Niederreiter to the left for Nemestikov. Nemestikov with 24 on the man advantage, shoved towards the near corner, but keep the hole at the puck. Nemestikov wanting to throw it back for Pionk. Going back for Nemestikov. Nemestikov going down low, and he gets a return feed. With 11. Top of the right circle, Pionk blasts one, that was wide. Nemestikov around. Over to the far half boards with 4. Picked up by Niederreiter, and here's Pionk with one-timer. Stopped by Bennington, he's down! And he kept it out! Just as the power play expired! Chaos at the front of the net, and it took a while for the Jets to register a shot. Not the power play, but he was down. Located this puck completely and covered it. We'll return. We have 7:59 left in the first period. For the Blues, they are the first team to win 13 straight home games, including the playoffs, since the Colorado Avalanche did so in 2021. They've been unstoppable ever since the Four Nations break, 19-4-3. In 15 of those 19 games, 15 and 16 times, or should I rephrase this? 15 of those came when they were leading after 2. 1 when tied as this shot hit Bennington as they were trying to deflect it. For the near half boards as they're fighting for the loose puck is picked up by the Blues. Possibly a rush chance, but not a lot here. For the far half boards is sent in to Toropchenko. 1-1 trailing entering the third period. 1-3-3 in that category. The only team to beat the Blues and the Blues were tied entering the third period was the Winnipeg Jets. Since the Four Nations break, they've lost just once in that span. Undefeated when entering the third period leading. It was a big hit over the far half boards. And at the far side, the Jets tried to send this one down, but it's collected up by St. Louis. Moving it back through the other side. Up the far half board, sent in. Deflected by Toropchenko wide the crease. As Jordan Kyrou was there, but couldn't hold his own. It was Neighbors, actually. Sent inside. That looked to be Iafallo. Cam Fowler was there. Iafallo takes a spill. Arriving there to poke away is Connor. Iafallo still on the rush. Going after the puck between him and Braden Shen. Poke free. Scheifele got it back to the left point and now the right side. Sandberg, Pionk. That went off Bennington. And it went back onto the right point. Back around for Scheifele. Shot by Fowler. Dispossessed on a whack at the stick. Scheifele still on the puck. Up against Fowler. Shen was turned away. And the Jets keep it as one. DeMello blasts one. And Bennington may have got a piece of it. Back to DeMello. DeMello at the right point. Spun one around. Over to Scheifele. Scheifele right in front. And Connor got tied up. Block shots are 6-2 St. Louis. But it's kept inside for Perfetti. Scheifele's tied up. Right in front. And Connor couldn't get a stick on the puck. Sandberg can on the point. Rebound right in front. Picked up by the Jets. And they score! Kyle Connor out of the scramble. Flight 81 is ready for takeoff. There were several chances for the Blues to get the puck out the zone. The Jets were active on the forecheck. Up and around, relentless with the puck. Especially Mark Scheifele, who was locked into a battle with Braden Shen for a long time. He and Alex Iafallo both were. The initial shot bounces off Jordan Bennington, and it lands onto Kyle Connor. Sandberg kept the puck inside. As it bounced off, Cole Perfetti bounced it off the post, but Connor made sure to put away the backhand. Past the legs of Parayko, and right through. It's 1-0 Jets. With less than 6 minutes to go here in the first period. Sandberg leading the way. Blues trying to tie the game. Jets trying to double down. Up the far side, takes a bounce. And a rush for the puck will be picked up by Winnipeg. Texier kept this one alive, but it's Pionk with it. Texier still pursuing the puck. Justin Falk beating out Morgan Barron. Gets away from him. Runs into his old man. Trying to get this one out. And does. Pionk fires his one around for the far side. And Bennington will play this one behind his net. St. Louis restarting for their own zone. Robert Thomas. Up on the far side. Entry pass doesn't go as it was blocked. And Connor delivers this backwards to Josh Morrissey. Up front, it is Niederreiter. Gets spun around the dump in. Namestnikov pins his man towards the wall. As they're both fighting for the loose puck, Perfetti escapes with it. Back to the place, Morrissey. On the right side, DeMello. Long shot bounced off Bennington. Through the far corner, Winnipeg still in pursuit. Niederreiter sent a pass. Was blocked off, but delivers on to the right point. DeMello, wide to Morrissey, but Morrissey sends his one down low. Perfetti's tied up, and that allows Jimmy Snuggerud to pursue it. The Jets give it away. Aaron pass right behind the drop. They'll send this one up front, and it'll be dumped down. DeMello picks it up with 4:37 to go in the first. Leading the rush at the near side now is David Gustafson. Gets decked, and on the other way is Nathan Walker. Walker himself gets turned around. Brandon Tanev. Queer is not out. It's held at the right point by Parayko. Down low into the near corner are the Blues. They look to get this one up front. Walker is tied up. So is Toropchenko. They all poke away at it as Hayden Fleury, a late addition to the lineup, is in the place of Logan Stanley. Fleury's trying to go after this one right on Toropchenko. This puck is still a no man's land with 4 minutes left in the first period. Still no movement. And now it finally moves. Blues keep this one inside. Once again trapped in no man's land as the Blues and Jets whack at the puck. Escapes onto Parayko. Blast one! And this went off of Hellebuck and wide. Kept inside the left point. Bounced off a body. Blues trying to set up at the top of the left circle. Now all the way back is Leddy. Flutters one over to Parayko. Parayko delivers this one around. Brace gives up as Fleury. Right behind the net. And whacking away at this. On the left side, the St. Louis Blues trying to tie the game up. Cam Fowler gets a cross-ice feed. Starter steps and pivots back. Deflection in front. That one set wide. David Gustafson wanted to clear. And it's bounced up and the Blues will restart. Jets can finally change. But they may be caught in doing so. Thomas is back on. Thomas gets this one over to the far half boards. Held inside by Jimmy Snuggerud. Rookie out the University of Minnesota. Right behind is Josh Morrissey. And this one bounced to the right point as Fleury kept this one in. Robert Thomas couldn't get a stick on the puck. And at the near side, Pavel Buchnevich on the hold. One time from Falk went off a stick. This bounced onto the near corner as it is Snuggerud. Held inside by Philip Broberg, and now it's Thomas with it. Thomas on his backhand gets shoved by Pionk. Dylan Sandberg also there. Snuggerud couldn't cycle this one back, but now to Thomas as Pionk is all over him. A lot of zone time here for the Blues. They're all over this ice. To the left point, Pavel Buchnevich is down low. Snuggerud picks it up as Sandberg falls down and blows a tire. Shifley pokes it away. Pionk wants to clear and does. Might be ice though. And all the way back, it'll be collected up by Justin Falk with 2:11. Jets cannot change lines. And we have to keep going. Kyle O'Connor out there for the Jets. Shots are 13-3. Winnipeg. St. Louis did not get a single shot on goal between those two offensive zone sequences. The Jets are doing a good job holding their own zone. It was his 18th career postseason goal for Connor. Third in the series. His first two were game-winning goals. And Hellebuck needs a bounce-back performance because the last few games have been unkind in the playoffs. Pionk can't get it out. It's out of the left point. Deep shot over to the far corner. Cycled around for Jordan Kyrou. Ripper on pass. Sheds there! Hellebuck denies him. Hellebuck was not tested much at the last few minutes, but that time around he was ready for the occasion. Wide open towards Hellebuck's left, and Hellebuck was ready for the stop. Final 2 minutes when we come back. Enterprise Center decided Game 4 of this series in the Western Conference Quarterfinals. The Jets lead the series 2-1 on the Blues. Robert Thomas and Adam Lowry on the face-off, won by Lowry. Dylan DeMello. The Blues beat the Jets in the playoffs before. 6 games in the Stanley Cup winning year in the Western Conference Quarterfinal 2019. Morrissey pursuing the puck. Quick shot went wide. And it'll be collected the far side by Buchnevich. Has Snuggerud coming with him. Too far in the pass, and the Jets will take it up. Barron clears, and it will be restarted by Falk. Justin Falk up the near side. Snuggerud is there. Snuggerud fires it, and adjusting the angle of the shot was Dylan DeMello. Held inside the right point by Falk, and sent around on the near side boards. And Falk couldn't hold his zone as he tried to get the feed from Foxa. Fourth point out there for St. Louis, and waiting is Philip Broberg. Wanted to get it to Falk. Instead, Broberg is going to go for a change, and Falk, end of his shift, he'll go for another one. Foxa skates around for the near side, and Falk feeds it up. This takes a bounce, no icing, as it's waved off. Hellebuyck will play this one out onto the far side. 55 seconds to go. Perfetti couldn't keep this one. Parayko all the way back. Colton Parayko wanted to get the tying goal here for the Blues, who fired just 4 times on Hellebuyck. Up the near side, off of Neighbors, and pursuing is Fowler. Fowler sends it from corner to corner, and Mark Scheifele is all tied up. Oscar Sundqvist going after it. 30 seconds to go. Pried free by Neighbors to the left point for Parayko. Sets up Fowler at the right circle. Fowler looks, tries to set up Swat. Parayko fires it. Score! Jake Neighbors! On the deflection, has evened it up at 1. Some knuckle pucks from the point, and this game is tied up. The Blues badly outplayed in the first period of Game 4. They get the all-important tying goal. A shot from the point by Parayko with the deflection in front by Neighbors. The question is, was it deflected in with a high stick? We have to see here. The question is, was it above the crossbar? And that was a high shot nonetheless. It's under the crossbar. I don't know if Scott Arniel is going to take a look at it, but nonetheless, it is Neighbors who deflected this one at the front of the net. It bounced up. You have to take a look at this. So far, this goal is standing. They're going to look at this. They might want to challenge this. Scott Arniel, that is. And the Jets, they're taking a look. And if this stands, it will be Neighbors' first career postseason goal. No challenge. Scott Arniel let this one go, and Neighbors officially has his first career postseason goal. Jets try to re-enter as this Scheifele up the far side. Scheifele centers one, nobody at the slot. Parayko backhands this one through onto the far side, a 2-on-2 to end the first period as they enter inside. Parayko plays whistle dead for an offside with 4.7 seconds left in the first period. Officially, it's Neighbors on his first career postseason goal. How's about that for postseason action? It's got to feel good for the kid. An I formation up at the middle. This is not a football play. This is a hockey play. Both teams are trying to get up front. They get body positioning at the slot, and Neighbors took full advantage. Neighbors from Parayko and Fowler officially. And this should run the first period out after the faceoff, and it will. 1-1 after 1. Kyle Connor and Jake Neighbors have the goals in the first period of play between the Jets and the Blues. The first intermission report is coming up next. Alec Nava here with you. We'll get all things covered along with final scores from last night. We'll get things going in a moment. Last minute turn of events in the first period. Jake Neighbors tying it up on the deflection in front. I feel good for the kid. That's his first career playoff goal. I am Alec Nava. Welcome to the first intermission report to go over the scoring of this game. Kyle Connor with his third goal of this series. Cole Perfetti and Dylan Sandberg have the assists. Jake Neighbors from Colton Parayko and Cam Fowler. For Fowler, that's his 7th assist of this series. He had 4 assists last game. You get him up to 6. And as the team's number 1 defenseman, he is thriving here in St. Louis as the top defenseman on the team. Entering this season, many were wondering who's going to be the true number 1 defenseman on the Blues. Is it going to be Justin Falk? What's it going to be Colton Parayko? And they went out and got Fowler at the trade deadline after they signed Philip Broberg via offer sheet. A 2-year deal at $4.5 million per year. Just over $4.5 million per year. He's been a revelation on St. Louis. His previous career high in games played, entering this season, 46 in the 2023 season. Shots are 12-5 Winnipeg. Hits are 16-8 St. Louis. And even with the Jets controlling the faceoff dot, winning 15 of 21. That's an area which they needed to address. And they have done so here in this game, at least in the first period. Power plays are 0 for 2 Winnipeg, 0 for 1 St. Louis. And in terms of block shots, 8-7 Blues. No takeaways, but the Jets have 6 giveaways to the Blues 1. The Blues are taking advantage of the mishaps. Last game, the hits were 59-54 Jets. That's how physical it was in Game 3. And this is a very uptight and physical series where the heavy hitting has been the name of the game. That they just keep on coming all around as both teams' players are throwing the body endlessly. Game 1, the hits were 53-33 St. Louis in Game 1 of this series. Game 2, not so much as it was 33-29 Winnipeg as the Blues toned down their physicality. But the Blues are getting back to that physicality, using it to their advantage. Big and physical as they inserted Tyler Tucker into the lineup for key defensive plays like that. Going over to yesterday's games, for the rundown of what happened yesterday after the Tampa Bay Lightning defeated the Florida Panthers. There was some chaos up in here. And yesterday, it was a 4-3 win for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. The Wild have just won once in franchise history while having a series lead. They have never won when having a 2-1 series lead in franchise history. For Vegas, it's a much needed game to have because they were lagging behind Minnesota in games 2 and 3. That the Wild took control of those 2 games with Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy. But those 2 were held off the goal sheet even for Kaprizov having a primary assist. Boldy did not record a point. For the Golden Knights, it's Shea Theodore on the man advantage from Ivan Barbashev and Jack Eichel. In the first period, tied up by Marco Rossi from Justin Brazo and Yakov Trenin. Tic-tac-toe was, and Marcus Foligno from Ryan Hartman and Matt Zuccarello to open up the second period. In the third period is where things got interesting. Entering the period with a 2-1 Wild lead, Nick Waugh tied up on the power play from Tomas Hertl and Pavel Dorofeev. This power play was the most lethal weapon on Vegas' team, and they made it sure that as they scored 2 power play goals against the third worst penalty kill in the NHL, which they had trouble against in games 2 and 3. Tomas Hertl got the Knights the lead at the midway mark of the third period, 10:03. Mark Stone and Brayden McNabb the assists. Jared Spurgeon answered back 54 seconds later. Kaprizov and Joe Eriksson the assists. And in overtime, the hero was Ivan Barbashev. First career overtime goal, and his first goal at the postseason from Nick Waugh and Riley Smith. At the 17:26 mark of OT, 2 minutes 34 seconds remaining in that extra session. Looked like you were going to go to a second OT. Third longest game of this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. Adin Hill made 29 saves on 32 shots. Philip Gustafsson, 42 saves on 46 shots. Hits 34-28 Vegas. The faceoff's pretty even. Block shots are 23 apiece. Takeaways 9-6 Vegas. And the giveaways 17-11 Minnesota. The one stat they don't want to lead there. Power plays are 2 of 5 for the Golden Knights as they finally struck the back of the net. The Ottawa Senators are still alive with a 4-3 victory in overtime over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Third time is truly the charm for the Sens, as special teams was the name of the game, and they left it at the Leafs special teams with a donut hole. Tim Stützle and Shane Pinto on their respective special teams. Stützle on the power play from Jake Sanderson and Brady Tkachuk. 9:03 into the first period. Shane Pinto followed up 14-11 on a shorthanded goal through a breakaway. John Tavares got to within one with 55 seconds left. William Nylander and Chris Tanev the assists. And Matt Nice evened it up at 2. Mitch Marner with the only assist on Nice's game-tying goal as Nice roofed it. David Perron deflected a shot from Artem Zub from the point at the 7:32 mark of the third. Adam Gaudette, the other assist. Oliver Ekman-Larsson fires the one-timer past Linus Ullmark. 14:31 into the third period to even it up at 3. But Jake Sanderson fired a seeing eye shot from the near half boards. An unassisted goal that was, as Sanderson sent this to a Game 5. The Leafs are 1-12 in their last 13 closeout games. But the one win that was to break their 19-year playoff drought. Even for them outshooting the Sens 34-21. It looked like the Sens were about to take over at any point this game. The Leafs had the more shots, but were the high-danger qualities of that outside the cross-ice pass between Nylander and Ekman-Larsson and everything else. Nice. Hits 44-29 Sens, and they show in the series they're the bigger team and the more physical team. This was actually the first straight game that went to overtime. The only one that hasn't was Game 1, which resulted in a 6-2 Toronto victory. Faceoffs 35-26. Block shots are 28-17 Toronto. 8-5 the takeaways Ottawa. 16-12 Toronto on the giveaways. Off note, the Leafs power play went 0 for 4 and gave up a shorthanded goal. Sens power play 1 for 2 on the other hand. And the last game, welcome back Gabriel Landeskog. I don't have to say it again. Soak in this moment. 3 stars are Logan O'Connor, Mackenzie Black with a 29 save shutout on the Stars, and the man of the hour, scoring his first goal in 1,041 days of NHL action, Gabriel Landeskog. The third goal of the game, assisted by Brock Nelson on the rush, fired on the left circle. No better feeling than this. Banked it in, bar and in. That's a happy moment for Landeskog to come back to the NHL. He's the third captain in NHL history to miss over 1,000 days of NHL action. And the first one to do it because of extensive injuries. The last 2 captains to miss over 1,000 days served under the Royal Canadian Army in World War II. Sil Apps with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Sid Abo with the Detroit Red Wings. For Colorado, their first 2 goals came on the special teams in the first period. Logan O'Connor shorthanded, David McKinnon on the power play from Devon Taves and Jonathan Drouin. Sam Girard at the other goal, Brock Nelson and Landeskog assisted on it. So outside the Blackwood 33 save shutout, it's his first career shutout and his first ever playoff series. This guy is legit as he's turned his career around at the Mile High City. He has done so effectively and well. Jake Ottinger stopped 31 of 34 shots between 2 periods before Peter DeBoer mysteriously pulled him before the third period. He played 39 minutes and 48 seconds. Something has to be up with him. I don't know if he's injured or not, or something was bugging him. Casey Smith, 13 of 14, filling in for Ottinger. He might be hurt, Ottinger that is, but I'm just not sure. He was pulled after the second period. I'm not sure what is happening with him. So when we come back, the second period, up next, in just a moment. I am Alec Nava. Stay tuned. leveled at 1 after 1. Heading into the second period, as you take a look at St. Louis Union Station, the many railroad terminals in the United States. St. Louis leads, they're looking to tie the series up at 2. They have never led in this series. They're trailing 2-1, but they did win Game 3, 7-2. Looking for some momentum heading back into the series, and the second period is underway. They did take a shot away from the Jets. They initially said 13, now it is 12. Moving up for the near side, the Blues get back to it with Parayko. Colton Parayko moving up for the far side. This takes a bounce, and moving through, here's Buchnevich from Thomas. Buchnevich fires, it was wide. Hellebuyck may have got a piece, and it goes back to the right point for Parayko. Down low, it is Snuggerud. Jimmy Snuggerud looks around, twists and twirls. Force back, bouncing puck, Parayko loads up again. 90 miles an hour on the shot. Bounced off Hellebuyck. Another try. That hit the side of the cage. Connor has a chance to clear it out, but he's boxed out. Thomas on the hold. Aaron pass, and the Jets will go back with this. Up the near side, it's backhanded and deep. It moved down for the ice. Shifley got a stick onto it for Iafallo. Morgan Barron out there. Kept inside, and now for Shifley. Shifley backhands around for Barron. Morgan Barron again onto the right point for Pionk. Rink wide for Sandberg, and out on the left side it is. Inside is blocked by Thomas. Alex Iafallo got a touch, and it's offside. It just exited the zone. The Blues getting some key shot blocks. Robert Thomas, some key shooting opportunities through screens in front. Thomas, Oscar Sundqvist even got scoring opportunities because of screens right at the front. Whether it be from Hellebuyck's own teammates or Sundqvist setting up a screen right for Jordan Kyrou. And Jimmy Snuggerud as well. His first career playoff goal was on a screen. The deflection goal by Parayko, of course, a screen set by Oscar Sundqvist. Off the face-off win, it's a battle at the near side boards between Foxa and Appleton. Right back in the near corner, the Blues get there first. Spun around is Lowry. That allows Foxa to pick up the puck. On the left point, held inside by Sandberg. And around this goes over to Barron, who's controlling on his backhand. Now forehands it down low for Lowry. Lowry goes down. He's right on Tyler Tucker. Blues moving up for the middle. And moving down is Nathan Walker. Walker sends it over to the near corner. Has Toropchenko with him, but Pionk is there. Pionk forces it back onto the far half boards. Appleton deny onto Dumpin. Taken back by Foxa as they go back with this. Too far there for its intended man. And Pionk gets it back. Up the near side boards is Vladislav Nemestikov. Holding onto it, spins and twirls, but he's tied up by Letty and Braden Shen. Now up the near side boards again. This time it's Neighbors too far in that. DeMello, deflection in front, picked up right in front. And it was deflected wide by Vladislav Nemestikov. Braden Shen scoops it up. Shen takes some time of it over to Letty. DeMello tried to cut the pass, and here come the Blues up the near corner. Looking to take their first lead of this game. DeMello, hard pinned towards the wall by Neighbors as they wrestle. And down goes one of the Jets. Right back comes Justin Falk as he spins around center ice. Sends this one down. DeMello bats it down. Hellebuyck will play this for him. DeMello will start up from his own zone. Make some wait and make some time here as both teams change lines. Not a lot of goals in his second period. Just been the most low-scoring period between these two teams in this series. Sundqvist deflects this one out. Texier shoved away by DeMello, but scooting to that puck is Bolduc. Moved away by DeMello as Morrissey braces himself. Up the far side is a race for the puck. Glove down by the Blues, but it's out of play. And that is 3:14 into the second period. It's right in front of Jim Montgomery. So now it's at the face-off. Cam Fowler did. So Cam Fowler is mic'd up. Emotional leader. Vocal presence. Spent many years on the Ducks organization. The number one defenseman on the team. Offensively, that is. And even set up the power plays. Saw the end of the Getzlaf and Perry years. Saw the beginning of the Zegras, Carlson, McTavish years. And leading the next generation is Carlson, McTavish, Zegras, and Jackson Lacombe with Pavel Mintyukov. Fowler is back onto the ice, looking to take this face up, but he'll go back onto the bench. Get the change going as everyone gets reset. 1-1 here. Past the 3-minute mark of this second period. It was cleared out from the Jet zone, so this will be an offensive zone face-off won by the Blues. Shot was kicked up by Bennington, and a big howitzer off the rebound by Tyler Tucker. Missed that one, but here come the Jets on the way back. Appleton is cut off. The Blues go back with this with Texier. Alexander Texier shoved away by Hayden Fleury, and over the left point. Cannot be held in by Tucker, and this will be deflected out. 17 in Royal Blue. He's coming back onto the ice for a face-off that's at the middle of this ice. 1 goal and 7 assists for Fowler. He leads the playoffs in points. What a revelation he's been for the Blues. He does have an assist today. He has a secondary assist on the Neighbors deflected goal. Parayko's one-timer. Parayko slapper from the point. Deflected in. This actually will be another offensive zone face-off for the Blues. Thomas gets it back over to Fowler. But Fowler mishandled the puck, and he'll go back to his own zone to move this for Parayko. Parayko shovels one up for Snuggerud. Snuggerud keeps a hold of the puck. Cross-ice pass intended for Buchnevich, but there was a stick in the lane. Forced out by Carter. And this will once again go out of play. As Parayko saw this one. It turns out everyone is moving aside. Have 5 cameras in the production. Well, you only can get one. And we have to focus on one. Kyle Connor. Highlighted here for Winnipeg as he is their top goal scorer. Ian Mark Scheifele taking the league by storm in terms of goal scoring. Jake Neighbors, the only other goal. Thomas is forced out the face-off dot. Buchnevich will take it for him. Won cleanly by Winnipeg. Picked up by Pionk. Not out though, as Snuggerud kept this one in. Cross-ice pass along the point and walking backward is Falk. Falk fires it, bounced up and cleared out by Niederreiter. Niederreiter will get this one out of the zone. It's picked up by Broberg. Philip Broberg going back with this. And we'll restart with Niederreiter giving chase, trying to take away the puck. He spins around. Broberg trying to reset. Has Braden Shen with him. Does not go to him. And now he'll start up. Now in the middle. And taking a slide with Neighbors. Couldn't get the puck. And now back is Nemestikov. Nemestikov fires. Kick out. Rebound. And Bennington got that one too. Puck behind the net. Goes back all the way to center ice. 2 shots on goal for Vladislav Nemestikov as he got his own rebound back. Perfetti up the far side boards. And the Jets go back with this. Drop pass out to the left point. Quick shot. And that will be gloved down by Bennington. Now letting up a rebound there as this is 15-13 to go into second period. We have a lot of stoppages here in this second period. Most of them were pucks that went out of play. Bennington's remained sharp, turning away at 14 of 15 Winnipeg shots. You'll see this face off towards his right. 1-1 is our current scoreline. This was the scoreline game 4 of the Western Conference Quarterfinals series. 2 years ago, heading into overtime. Only difference this time is that Winnipeg is leading the series 2-1, and St. Louis is trailing. Off the face-off, grabbed by the Jets. Morrissey drives! Kicked out by Bennington, rebound is free, and picked up by Fowler as he sets it up. Through the middle, 3-on-2 rush developing. Buchnevich, Thomas, cross-ice pass, intended for Snuggerud. Connor was there, and going back is Scheifele. He's all alone at the near side boards. We'll drop this one back, and gliding around with a move is Morrissey. Morrissey goes towards the point. DeMello drives one. That went wide, and Parayko picks up no rebound. On the near side is Buchnevich. Juggled up out the center as this is scooped up by Sundqvist. Buchnevich tangled up at the near side boards. Thomas drops it back over to Snuggerud. Parayko globs one up and 96 miles an hour. Fired it off the pad of Hellebuck and off the near side boards. The Jets will slow the action down. Through the far side, Morrissey will dump this one down and go for a change and complete the cycle for the Jets. Near side is Letty. Hounded down by several Jets. Taken away by Appleton for a brief second before Foxa helped him out. Nick Letty again. He'll start up on the near side boards. Sent in from the red line. Hellebuck out to Puedes as the icing is waved off. Through the far half boards. Blues tried to keep it inside, but the Jets hold it. Dumped in down the near side as Binnington will reset on his crease. Toropchenko watches his man as he gets hauled down. Appleton also arrives. Tucker is there. A bump and a kick of the puck as his move goes free. And Binnington had to make a save there. Onto the left point. Handling this one is Hayden Fleury. Now here's Luke Schenn. And that one wide of Binnington. Forced to the far half boards. Nobody at the left point to hold it. Lowry frees one up for Luke Schenn. Luke Schenn off the near half boards. And this goes by everyone. Recollected at the blue zone. Giveaway here, and Luke Schenn will start things up. Speeding down the near side wing is Jared Anderson-Dolan. Backhander, losing the swat. Cleared away by the Blues, and goes back to the point. Theo Pionk fakes the shot, and he'll drive it back over to Sandberg. Sandberg, back for Pionk. That drives one at last, and that's blocked off by Foxa. Tucker can't get it out. Foxa could, and it's along the red line. A lot of tired Blues on the ice, and taking this back up with speed is Tanev. For Jared Anderson-Dolan. Anderson-Dolan evades Braden Schenn. Off for Tanev. Moves around to the near half boards for Pionk, who waits. Sandberg back for Pionk one more time. Fires one. Binnington stopped that. Tanev around the far side boards gets this back. Loose sticks on the ice. Big hit along the near corner. Theo Pionk was there. Neighbors delivers the boom. Bounced up and collected by the Blues. Backhander stopped by Hellebuck. Keeps his puck alive here as the Jets keep going. Up the far side. Tyler Tucker's getting back. Quick shot and Binnington will hold on to it and will get the stoppage. 12:14 to go in the second period. Nearly 8 minutes gone here in the second period. It remains 1-1. Theo Pionk brings the boom to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Right on Nick Leddy. We'll return in a moment. The Gateway Arch in view in St. Louis, home of the Blues and the Cardinals, play at nearby Busch Stadium. Stanley Cup playoffs are underway still. It's the first of 4 games on today's slate. This is one of the 2 afternoon games before we go to 1 evening game and 1 night game. 19-9, the shots in favor of Winnipeg. Moved up at the far corner, off the faceoff win by the Blues. Glove down by Winnipeg, and having trouble with Nemestikov as Thomas sweeps away back for Buchnevich. Pavel Buchnevich from the left circle. Cross-ice pass was walked off, and now the Jets will go back the other way. Several Blues hustling back to get back on defense. Off the left side boards, Nemestikov holds it. But not for long though, as it's Thomas. Thomas, cross-ice pass as this will be sent in from the red line. Hellebuck out to Puedes for Dylan DeMello. Buchnevich kept it inside. And out the far half boards, there's another chop at it. Kyle Connor there. Centering pass up front over to Morrissey. Morrissey back for Connor. Overskate the puck. Backhand around, Falk cut off Morrissey. Falk wanted to return it, but here's Neil Pionk to keep this in the zone. For the far corner, it is Niederreiter. Second line is out there for the Jets. Two Blues there to collide on him. Snuggerud and Broberg. Scheifele arrives for support. Falk there in the case the puck comes south. I have follow too. Puck comes free from no man's land. Scheifele delivers back to the left point. Pionk takes one up, and this one partially blocked, but still made his way to Binnington. Cleared out by St. Louis. Settled back down by Pionk. And Jordan Binnington will leave this behind. Almost ran himself into trouble. But the near half boards skating down is Braden Shen, who'll drop it off for Philip Broberg. Broberg around to the far side boards over to Hellebuck. Hellebuck places one out and skating towards the left point, but it comes back out through this blue zone. Parayko backhands it up. Glove down by Pionk. Pionk backhands one. Binnington came out to play this one out. In pursuit of Scheifele right in front. Binnington's in trouble. And so was Fowler. Almost was a takeaway. But the Blues evade trouble. 2-on-2 back the other way as moving up is Walker. Delivers one back. Trying to inside is Parayko as he runs into Hellebuck. Hellebuck got out of the way in time. He avoids the collision, and now here's Luke Schenn. Luke Schenn flips this one down, gloved by the Blues, by Fowler. Fowler gets shoved, helping him as Parayko as it came to him. Up to Faksa. Radek Faksa goes up and over off Dylan DeMello for the near corner. Out inside by Nick Leddy as he gets right by Appleton. Centering pass was cut off by Barron, and now it ends up with Appleton. Adam Lowry, the third line, chips this one down and they'll change lines. Leddy backhands one down from Tucker, and it bounces up in the air off Bolduc. Zach Bolduc sells it down. Bolduc gets bumped off the puck, still grabs a hold of it. Leddy goes rink wide for Tucker, passes to Bolduc, it bounced up, and still in the ice, off the boards. Sends this down to the near corner. Sundqvist centers one, sticked away by DeMello. Leddy on the hole at the near corner. 7 minutes of sustained zone time by this fourth line. One-timer, Tucker scores! Tyler Tucker, insert into the lineup in Game 2, has his first goal at the playoffs in Game 4. Alexander Texier one-hands this to keep his one inside as Nick Leddy looks for passing options. He immediately goes to Tucker, his partner at the point, and off the moving screen in front from Oscar Sundqvist is wide open back inside. Hellebuck never saw it, and a one-timer gets right through and squeaked right by him. It's one he's got to have, Hefto, for the best goaltender in the NHL, but nonetheless, it is a 2-1 Blues lead here in Game 4. Blues trying to tie the series with Tucker scoring the go-ahead goal. Hellebuck dangerously at the trapezoid. Blues taken away. Loose out in front and is fired wide. There was a center pass towards the Swan. Never made his way towards the net. Niederreiter coming back with this as it bounced behind Binnington. Right behind the crease and now at the near side boards. Off the takeaway is Pionk. Pionk rips one, blocked off a leg. Nemestikov on the hole at the near corner. Nemestikov goes back towards the point for Pionk. And Dylan Sandberg. Pionk opens up at the top. Down low it is Nemestikov towards the slot. Shot blocked off. May have bounced off Binnington. Nemestikov tied up by Falk as it bounced towards the far corner for Braden Shen and Jake Neighbors. Swing and a miss here for Sandberg. And moving down the far side of the ice. A clapper! Hellebuck grabbed that one. And a sigh of relief here for Hellebuck as Kyrou and Pionk had to be separated by Kyle Murchison. 2-1, Blues lead at 8:20 to go. Second period when we come back. It is a day of firsts here for the Blues goal scorers. First career playoff goals for both Jake Neighbors and Tyler Tucker. Neighbors, a top 6'4", Tucker, a depth defenseman. Scott Arniel and the Jets are 3-8 in Game 4s in Jets/Thrashers history. There's the belief that this series could go 7 games. And there is the belief that this series, despite being a 1v8 matchup, it's going to be tighter than much anticipated. And these last 2 games, including this one, are proof. And even Game 1. Passes gloved down by Tucker at center ice. Moving back with this, around is Zach Bolduc. And over to near corner, the Blues look up. It's Texier. Centering pass was blocked. There was an area for him to shoot at. Through the far half boards, the Jets move it up. Fans chanting Connor. As it's dumped down for the ice. Tucker there to stick it away. And a whistle. 7:52 to go here in the second period. As Kyle Murchison and CJ Murray had to intervene with the pushing and shoving. And Nick Leddy goes rink wide for Tucker, who opens up at the right point. What a moment it is for him with Sundqvist and Morrissey as well. Inadvertently set up a moving screen right in front of Hellebuck. As he never saw that one. A point shot made its way through him. 89 miles an hour on the shot from the right point. Face off to the right of Binnington, won by the Blues. Offensive zone time, 8:29 to 7:02 in favor of Winnipeg. St. Louis making the most of their opportunity, scoring twice on 12 shots. Jets once on 19 shots. Shifley is watched and moved it over to Morrissey. Up in the air and is batted down by Iafallo. The top line for the Jets moving by, and he's bumped by Fowler. Shifley there at the near corner. Joining him is Iafallo to get this puck out of no man's land. Fowler trying to collapse onto the puck. Comes out to the right point for DeMello as this is patted away by Binnington. Up at the far side, the Blues with this. Chasing down is Connor. Right to the far half boards on Thomas. Robert Thomas looks back. Shifley's with him. Whipper out attempt over to Buchnevich. Pass back over to Thomas. Closed off by DeMello. And it goes behind the net. And scooped up by Winnipeg. Up at the near half boards is Josh Morrissey. Morrissey walking the blue line, now the red line. Fires around for the boards and then goes to the bench. Painting out for Falk. Laying the way up the middle is Neighbors. Jake Neighbors has Jordan Kyrou to his left. Kyrou fires to him from distance. Easy save by Hellebuck. Scooped up by Niederreiter. And Niederreiter will walk his way up the ice. And for the far side, Winnipeg goes back with this. Bennington's out to handle this one. And it bounces right onto Perfetti, who is shoved. And up the near side boards, it is Neighbors who goes rink wide for Shen. And now Falk. And he'll be sent inside as Neighbors puts on a shove. Up for Kyle Connor. Or rather Cole Perfetti as Binnington plays it again. For the far corner, the Blues will send this one down as it bounces through center ice. And the Jets will start off in their own zone at the blue line. Glove down by Nemesikov. After several seconds up in the air. Entering back is Perfetti. Want to go back up to the point, but he is pickpocketed. And now Nathan Walker sends it to the far corner for Radek Faksa. And a backhander stopped by Hellebuck. Torpchenko, rather, got the backhander right on Hellebuck. The Blues ahead by 1 as the intensity is continuing with hit after hit, including Adam Lowry on Tyler Tucker. We'll be right back. Ken Fowler has the second most points in a single series by a Blues defenseman in franchise history. Al MacInnis with 9, tied with Joe Micheletti, 1999 and 1981 with 9 each. That's tied for second most with Fowler with Kevin Shattenkirk in 2015. Off the face-off, the Jets move it up as they deflected off themselves to Adam Lowry. Luke Shen back up to Lowry. Jets trying to tie this one up as Mason Appleton has an open look. Fires it. Bennington right there. And when the Jets went down, Bennington will cover it up with his glove hand. It was all alone at the left hash of the right circle. Trying to get this one down low. Almost had the go-ahead goal. No screen at the front. But the left side, Morgan Barron, he gets tied up on the wrestle down. Actually went off the crossbar. Went over the glove hand of Bennington. Might have caught a piece. That's what I believe it to be. A perfect shot by Mason Appleton as it almost squeaked right by him. That was that close to a tie game as Fox is back out there. Wins the drop from Nemestikov. Up the near side boards, DeMello wanted to keep this one inside. Right by Bennington and collected up by Falk. Justin Falk for Philip Broberg as Broberg moves it for the near side. Going across. Broberg right by DeMello. Setting up behind the net and coming out onto the far half boards. Down low for Torpchenko. Torpchenko wants Faksa, can't find him. Everything's closed off. Left point shot. Covered up by Hellebuck. That was Broberg who fired that one. Had to go from that area of the ice. When the Edmonton Oilers beat the Dallas Stars in last year's Western Conference Final. Next games are the Hurricanes and Devils at 3:30 Eastern, Capitals and Canadiens 6:30 Eastern, Kings and Oilers 9:30 Eastern. As everyone checks out, Stars and Avalanche tied at 2 apiece in that series in the Rantanen Bowl. Let's go Blues chance here in Enterprise Center. Robert Thomas to set up the faceoff. He's with Buchnevich and Snuggerud. Adam Lowry is 9 of 11 on faceoffs. Thomas 7 of 15. That time it's won by Thomas. Tucker keeps it inside. Buchnevich is all tied up. Winnipeg regains control from their own side of the ice. Appleton flipped it to himself and up the far half boards. The Jets move this one inside. Wide of Bennington. And it'll be kept around the right point. Here's Pionk. Long drive. Bounced up. And Bennington will cover it up. And now some wrestling here as Tucker gets held down by Adam Lowry. Morgan Barron was feisty up at the front. 4:42 to go here in the second period. So Lowry is going to be escorted to the penalty box. And it looks like a Blues power play. It was a little too excessive from Lowry. As there was a takedown at the end of that play. Excessive that time around. And Scott Arniel needs to have his penalty killer step up. At the end of it all, he grabbed Tucker by the horse collar and brought him down. That's a no-no. And Francois St. Laurent saw that all the way. And the play was dead. And right afterwards, Lowry didn't like that. That's not a good sign from your captain. 4:42 left in the second period. Watch for Jordan Kyrou, who has 7 power play goals on the season. Off the tie-up, the Jets will scoop it up. And they'll calmly skate away for the far side of the boards. They're trying to blow right by, but there's nothing there for Alex Iafallo. Justin Falk will lead the way back. They'll begin with the second unit of Neighbors, Shen, Sundqvist, Kyrou, and Falk. Up the far side, here's Jordan Kyrou. And he puts the brakes on. Kyrou up for Neighbors! And that one fired wide. Falk keeps it in. The near side boards, and will be sent back for Falk in the deep left point. Luke Shen blocks the pass, and this will go all the way down. Jordan Bennington, long stretch pass as it's Oscar Sundqvist offside. Jordan Kyrou was very late getting back onto the play. It's offside. The top power play unit comes back out. It would have beat by Jordan Kyrou to get back up with speed right around for the defense, putting on the brakes on Dylan Sandberg and taking this one for the right side. Ends up cross ice on the pass. That went wide. Off the face off, the Blues send this one down. Hellebuyck can't handle it, but it's kept in by Buchnevich and the top power play group of him, Thomas, Snuggerud, Bolduc, and Fowler. Cam Fowler walks the point for Thomas, who spins around. Thomas with Connor on him. The Jets swipe this one down the ice. Bounced off the near corner, and Binnington will leave it for Fowler. 1 minute left on the power play. Fowler takes his time and drops it. What will the Blues get out their man advantage unit? Moving up the near side ice, it is Thomas backhanding one around for Snuggerud. Jimmy Snuggerud back for Thomas on the return feed far to near boards. Now back in the left place, Fowler. Fowler over to Thomas, who sends one down low for Bolduc. Zach Bolduc back for Robert Thomas as he watches onwards from the near half boards. Thomas tried to go right back down low. Out in front, Ian Genge almost knocked it into his own net. And up the near side boards, the Jets clear with 23 on the man advantage. Binnington left it behind for Fowler. 18 on the power play. Fowler gets this upside near side boards, or far side rather, for Neighbors, who gets sticked away. And the Jets get this one down the ice. Neighbors replaces Buchnevich. Philip Broberg and Cam Fowler are still out there as Adam Lowry is set to come out in a second, and he will. Jake Neighbors entering back. And here is Colton Parayko trying to backhand one. Who's in front? They score! Jordan Kyrou and Brayden Schenn both there, and Schenn knocks it in to make it 3-1. He found a puck in the crease. Hellebuyck was late to it. This puck could not be held down by Hellebuyck, as it was sent inside on the backhand, loose in the slot, and Schenn moved around. Hellebuyck patient with this as Parayko tried to slide across for Kyrou, blocked off the stick by Hellebuyck, picked up by Schenn, elevator stat, top quarter, and it's 3-1 Blues. He weighed him out and got on the board. Twelfth career postseason goal as Schenn is looking for blood on his hand at the aftermath, checking with the medical staff. 2:37 to go in the second period. As the Blues go up by 2 and win the ensuing faceoff, the new concern is that their captain has some blood onto his hand. They're going to check up with him in the meantime, as it's Walker back behind the net. Lowry tried to pry it free. Morrissey did, and so will Falk at the far half boards. Balanced up for Morrissey. Morrissey wants to get us out and does. Justin Falk backhands it away. Loose puck goes to Binnington as it slid down the ice. 2:12 to go. And more pushing and shoving. What else is new? Adam Lowry took that minor penalty at that scrum, and he's late to get back onto the play. He just came out the box. Hellebuyck tried to get the puck off the stick and cover it to get it to himself, but it was too far for him. And a great play by Schenn to pry the puck away from him. The puck was never fully covered. If 3-1, the Blues lead it. 23-16, the shots on goal in favor of the Jets. Face-off is to the left of Binnington. Shifley wins it with help from Connor. Connor is forced to the outside. Connor at the near corner. Out in front, there was nobody at the slot. Morrissey on the inside for Connor for the far half boards. Connor, all boxed out. Brayden Schenn was there. And up the middle, it is Buchnevich with it. Pavel Buchnevich off the near end boards. Jets are all over it as it's Shifley. Shifley moves back with the puck, trying to move around Fowler. Dumps this down the ice. Parayko's there, and Snuggerud picks it up. Jimmy Snuggerud up the far side boards and cut off. Rink wide, this goes to Robert Thomas, who waits. They roll it offside. It actually should be a roughing penalty. It caused Fowler to get off the ice. Didn't have his helmet. You have to talk with the referee. Kendrick Nicholson, Brayden Schenn, both discussing matters. I guess we never know about what penalty, because Fowler, he's without his helmet. Can't win this back on. This face-off is between Schenn. And if both start for Nemestikov, that'll get Perfetti at the dot. A tight conversation here. And not be a penalty on that play. At the end of it all, so now let the face-off between Schenn and Perfetti. Schenn wins it, but quickly Kyrou's tied up. Brayden Schenn from Colton Parayko and Jake Neighbors. Pionk sends it on to Bennington, who gets it to the corner for Broberg. Leaping hit by Neil Pionk, and moving up is Brayden Schenn, moving back the other way. Schenn falls down, gets back up. Niederreiter and Nemestikov are all tied up. Collected up, left side, and Schenn won a second goal. Didn't miss by much. Neighbors, Falk, one-timer, score! Justin Falk and Jordan Kyrou combine on a shot that gets by through traffic in front, 4-1. Falk always had a booming shot, and that time he rifles that. Does it hit Pionk or does it hit Kyrou? It hits something, but for the moment it says Falk. But I don't believe that Kyrou got a stick onto the puck. It may have hit Pionk right in front. So this goal is going to go to Falk. And Hellebuck had no chance, but he left all sorts of room on the left side. But this was going towards his left, not his right. And nearing the final minute of the second period, Hellebuck has given up 4 goals on 17 shots. DeMello up the near side boards as it bounced up. It's collected by Nick Leddy. He backhands one down low. Hellebuck thought about it, but retreats back, seeing that Bodek arrive first. Going to far half boards, it is Barron. Going to clear it out, and this is right in front. Lowry ties his man up. Jets trying to clear it out. At the left point, kept inside. Hellebuck plays this one over to the far half boards. He gets back onto his crease. Tucker's there, and DeMello plays this one out. In the lowest scoring period of this series, the Blues have scored 3 times. Drop back all the way. And this is a pickpocket as there was a loose stick on the ice. That was Buchnevich. Appleton takes it back. Falk from Neighbors and Brayden Schenn. 12 seconds to go in the period as the Blues try to pound the Jets even further. Snuggerud leaves it up on the near side for Brayden Schenn. Up the far side, Tucker couldn't get a stick onto the puck. And the Jets will run this out to the end of the second period. The Blues have a free goal explosion here in the second. And they go up by 3 after 2. How about this Blues team? We can vibes to the Gloria team from 2019. 4-1 they lead after 2. We'll have the intermission and the storylines around the NBA scores from yesterday and some previews of today's games. Alec Nava here with you. Staying with you. We'll be right back. Glad you made it here, Ian. It's a 4-1 lead for the Blues. You guys won not just one, but you could be on pace for 2 home wins here in this series.
That would be excellent. Man, I cannot tell you the... Oh my God. If you were to tell me that we would be getting goals from... Okay, Cam Fowler wouldn't have been much of a surprise. He's been killing it ever since he got here. But Justin Falk, Tyler Tucker, guys who... I'm pretty sure Falk didn't even have... I know he didn't have 10 goals. I'm not even sure he had 5. Tyler Tucker had 3 goals all regular season in the games he played. And, of course, Braden Shen and Jake Neighbors, I mean, they're goal scorers, but we're getting howitzers from our defensemen.
Especially Tyler Tucker, who I didn't see scoring entering this game, but it's a pleasant surprise. And it's also his first career playoff goal. Not only for him, but Jake Neighbors.
Yeah. Oh, man, that is excellent for them. Not to mention so far the Jets are still out shooting them. Bennington's been as much of a rock as he can be. I wish the defense would play just a little bit more efficiently. You know, because in the first and second period, the Jets had very long offensive, they spent a long time in the offensive zone. I'd like it if the defense could steal the puck back just a little bit quicker and get it down the other end of the ice. But really, that's my... I mean, Shen scored after the power play, but I would like it if they scored on the power plays a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I got no gripes about this. Up 4-1 going into the third. Bennington just has to keep being Bennington and just spend as much time in the Winnipeg zone as you can.
That's the keys there. Spend as much time as possible in the Winnipeg zone. Do not let the Jets get anything out of this, because as third period goals, you can never count any of these two teams out. But last time round, the Jets don't have to worry about a late game goal because they were already up by 3 goals entering the third period. The Blues are in the same exact scenario because the Blues didn't have to worry about a go-ahead goal because they were up by 3 goals in game 3. And this time round, it's the same case. But if they can keep this going and to get shots on Bennington, who white people are asking why he's not a usual form, this is what he does in the playoffs.
Yeah, Bennington becomes a rock. Unfortunately for the Jets, I don't know what happens with Hellebuck. And it's it's not even the fact that he's been bad the entire time. When we played them at home, he was darn near. I mean, yeah, he let the high slot ones go, but he pretty much goalied the Blues in game 2. They only got 1 goal on him.
That's true. But outside that, game 1 he laid a stinker. Game 3 he laid an even bigger stinker. And this game probably might be another stinker for him. But in some of those looks, what is he to do? In the third goal, Braden Shen steals the puck. Hellebuck's late to react.
Yeah. They're showing They're showing that goal now on the on TBS.
Yep, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Because, he was late to react. And initially, Parayko wanted to get it to Kyrou. But Hellebuck never had that puck covered, and he tried to get that to himself, but Braden Shen was getting up right in front of that puck. There's nothing. But Hellebucky was late to react to it, and it gets right by him, top corner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's a great first two periods. But yeah, the keys for the Blues to win are just what we laid out: offensive zone time and Binnington holding it down.
Both true. So, among yesterday's games, well, the Lightning just pounced on the Panthers right after the Hagel suspension. And much of the talk late in the game was about Matthew Tkachuk's very late hit on Jake Guentzel. That was late, and I thought for sure that Tkachuk would get fined for it because that hit's not suspension worthy. But it'll be worthy of a fine because Guentzel got the puck away half a second before Tkachuk laid the hit on him and before Cirelli got the empty net goal. No fines for Tkachuk, no suspensions. What?
I don't know.
Me neither. Just inconsistent rulings from the Department of Player Safety.
Yeah. But speaking of that, now Ottawa has won a game. Toronto, you better finish them off. Listen, reverse sweeps are always unlikely, but they've happened. Toronto, you're on home ice.
And we nearly had one last year in the Stanley Cup final.
Yep.
But nonetheless, pressure's on Toronto now to deliver in Game 5 at home.
Yeah, speaking of which, Alec, another series that's happening. How do you explain the Wild?
I can say it like this. Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Bodie are the driving forces behind the Wild's wins in Games 2 and 3. Each of them have 4 goals so far in this series. But in Game 4, Vegas held them off the goal sheet and limited them to just 1 assist in this game. For the Wild to get victories in this series, they're going to have to drive right through them. But it's the Golden Knights power play that's been the driving force of their victory in Game 4. They were held without a goal in the last 2 games. Mind you, the Wild had the 3rd worst penalty kill in the regular season. Vegas clapped back with 2 goals of their own. And an overtime victory in Game 4 by former St. Louis Blue, Ivan Barbashev, out of a net front scramble.
Barbie was always he was always a good player with Blues. I'm glad he got dealt to Vegas. The guy we got from Zach Dean, I'm not sure what his status is or how close he is to coming up either next year or the year after.
So you have a lot of key young faces on the team that's been thriving here. And even without Dylan Holloway, guys like Jake Neighbors and Jimmy Snuggerud are thriving on the top 6. And the last one I want to mention, Gabriel Landeskog. A goal and an assist for his first points back with the Colorado Avalanche, his first goal back in 1,041 days.
Yeah, that's... How can you not be romantic about hockey? I mean, it's got some of the best stories
ever.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And this is a feel-good story of feel-good stories in this year's playoffs. And how fitting that the Avalanche got a 4-0 shutout win. Mackenzie Blackwood, a 23-save shutout. Landeskog, a goal and assist. It was a perfect night for Denver sports. You combine this with the Nuggets' buzzer-beating win, and after minutes of video review, they confirmed that Aaron Gordon indeed got the game-winning dunk at the buzzer.
Wow. What a way. I was hoping your Rockets would pull it out, but...
This is what Steph Curry does to people. Demoralize them.
Yeah.
But,
and Jalen Green just wasn't being, Jalen Green, if he's not, it looks like if he isn't scoring 30 plus,
the offense falters. Yeah. But nonetheless, I'll give credit to the Warrior defense for holding every player to under 20 points on our team. For as good as we are defensively, the Warriors' defense is right up with us.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Curry, 36 on 5 3-pointers to go with it. And sometimes on his 3-pointers, he's just wasting time out like he's inviting defenders to come to him. Says, put one guy on, 2 guys on him. He's just inviting with them, just toying with them. And then, swish.
Yeah.
Because that's him. Well, the other series, Cavs Heat is not competitive, and the Thunder can bring out the brooms. The Grizzlies season is over.
Yeah, I don't know what the Grizzlies do. I don't know what they need to do. The Thunder, on the other hand, let's see, potential matchups for them are the...
You'll face either the Nuggets or Clippers in the second round, which I wonder why there's no reseeding in the NBA.
I don't know either.
It beats me, but if I'm Memphis, I'm not going to make any excuses about no John Morant for the blown 29-point lead in Game 3. The fact that you let that game slip away from your fingers is beyond me.
Yeah, I mean, 29 points. And did they come back in the fourth quarter, the Thunder?
The Thunder came back in the second half. The Grizzlies had, 77 points in the first half? Under 40 points in the second half.
Jesus.
Oh, my. But that's what the Thunder defense can do to you. They can lock you down, and they can slow you down.
Yep.
And to put it all away, how would you want to get locked down by? Or how do you want to get poster, or how do you want to get torched by? Do you get torched by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, or even Chet Holmgren?
Yeah, I mean they have a deep team. And Sam Presti is a madman. He's been wheeling, he has been dealing, he has been doing the thing since Seattle.
The old guard.
I don't know. Oh, hang on. Let me look at something real quick.
No worries. In the meantime, man, the Pistons, every Pistons game has to be tight and chippy. It seems that way as you were looking at something.
So he was he was hired as the Seattle Supersonics GM in 2007, the year they drafted Kevin Durant. He was 29 years old then. He was the second youngest person to be hired as a GM in NBA history.
Well, young minds do love to go for newer and more innovative approaches.
Yeah, and apparently, but this guy, he is one of those, in a way, we think a lot like him because we look at teams that just don't have the horses anymore, and we're able, and we recognize when a team has to start over, or we think we do, but then there will always be and then there will always be that one surprise where a team just out of nowhere decides to turn the clocks back a year and maybe they make it. But most of the time, we know when the time's up.
Yep, and Presti knew at the end of the era of Russell Westbrook and Paul George in 2019, and even the surprise playoff year when in the first year of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, under the mentorship of Chris Paul, which helped a lot for his development into being one of the top guards in the league. So, with that in mind, keep an eye on both of your teams, both the Thunder and the Blues, as we are a minute 15 into the third period. The Jets did get some chances, but Jordan Binnington and his defense in front of him was able to force them towards the outside. The Blues have it again. What we get for the near side, Robert Thomas gets turned away. The Jets come back with this. The more they are trailing, the more they are likely to shoot from anywhere. And that time, Nino Niederreiter just fires a top shot towards Binnington with an easy save. In his last 13 playoff games, Connor Hellebuyck has allowed... In his last 13 playoff games, in 10 of those games, Connor Hellebuyck has allowed at least 4 goals. There are only 3 times in which he's allowed 3 goals or less. Games 1 and 2 of this series are 2 of those 3. In the regular season, since 2023, 17 shutouts in the regular season. No shutouts in the playoffs. For the far side, Sundqvist keeps this one in the zone and guides it back to the point for Parayko. Guides it back at one, and now here come the Jets. Partial break here for Kyle Connor. He spins at the top of the left circle, and a pass just missed for Josh Morrissey. 2-on-2 on the other way as Oscar Sundqvist has Thomas on the trailer. Thomas waits, delays, backhander, score! Gorgeous goal! Robert Thomas! Wow!
I love it behind you. Let's see this. Oh, wow.
This is unbelievable.
Oh my.
This is unbelievable. Robert Thomas driving to the net, backhand, forehand. One of the prettiest goals you'll see in the playoffs. As he was falling down with Kyle Connor, he may have tripped him up, but nonetheless, it is 5-1. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to drive the dagger right through. Whoopang! And Hellebuyck has been pulled for a second straight game.
Wow.
Eric Comrie fills in as the backup goaltender. And essentially says that St. Louis may be on their way to winning this game on normal circumstances when there is a huge lead and the main goaltender has been pulled. So again, Hellebuyck has been pulled. And up at the far side, this gets deflected on back. This is actually the first time that I'm covering both the Jets and Blues all season. But it turns out it may lead to the Blues' 13th straight home victory dating back to the regular season. Impressive streak.
That is a good streak.
Yeah. Is Luke Shen, his brother Braden opposite him. Thomas from Sundqvist and Buchnevich Morgan Barron's all over the left side. And there's Binnington again with another save, with Barron having all space and time to fire. Now, is it a coincidence that yesterday was the second time I covered the Panthers Lightning game on the season, and both times it ended with a 5-1 Lightning victory? And among today's slate, NBA and NHL, looking forward to that Canes-Devils game, of course, but also an interesting storyline between the Washington-Montreal series. Logan Thompson was practicing after he was injured. Dylan Sandberg shot blocked. Not sure about Sam Montembeau's status because he too was injured in Game 3. Jakob Dobas filled in his place. Rookie out of the Ohio State University. National champions in football. Just saw Jack Sawyer and Will Howard get drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in Day 3. Oh. And for the far corner, both battle for this loose puck. And it turns out they're getting into a more casual tone here later in this third period. It's nice to see Tom Grossi announce an NFL draft pick. Awesome stuff in Green Bay. Right behind the net, Alexander Texier, who assisted in one of the goals tonight, gets this up the center. The Blues have been all over the ice, and barring a miracle, here's another chance at a slot. And Comrie did allow a goal in the previous game. That was the 7th goal scored by the Blues in Game 3. Very likely we'll see this series even up. The last time around, it's followed a similar pattern. The team that won first made a 2-0 series lead. And the team that was trailing evened up at 2. Except this time, the roles are reversed. Howitzer from the right point was stopped by Binnington. The first time around was St. Louis winning the first 2 games of 2019. Winnipeg evened up at 2. But this time, Winnipeg won the first 2 games of the series. St. Louis about to even up at 2 as Morrissey fired it wide. Went off a skate. And we chopped that. The Blues trying to get back with this is Justin Falk, the former Carolina Hurricane, who was traded for Joe Edmondson in the 2019 offseason. Comrie goes back to play this one. And it's moved up for the middle of the ice. Fired inside by Jared Anderson-Dolan as Binnington places on his backhand. Some players go down like bowling pins. One of those goals that Hellebuck gave up last game was one of the goals that will make Steve Dangle say, if you're a goaltender, tend the goal.
Yep.
The Buchnevich hat trick.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild because entering this series, Buchnevich had only 1 goal in the postseason in 22 previous games. He has 4 now after Game 3. 3-on-3 as they enter back. The Blues looking for a 6th goal. He wants that touchdown. Kyrou inside. Here is Thomas, who is tied up. Kyrou, nobody in the slot. And the Jets are playing this one up and out. Justin Falk is all the way back. Watched him at Carolina for several years. Was a solid defenseman throughout those years. Was stuck in some bad teams up until 2019 when that second pairing had both him and Brett Pesce on the second pairing. 2 righties, by the way. Unconventional as we have an icing, but 2 righties on the same pairing is not usual because right-hand defensemen are rare in the NHL these days. But in the times in which there are right-hand defensemen, they're usually top pairing D-men or second pairing D-men that are stout. And Hellebuck silently upset walking down the Enterprise Center visitors tunnel. Moved up through the ice. And it'll be collected by the Blues. Banked this up the near side boards. Near the penalty box. Collected by Scheifele. And the Jets need something in Game 5. They need a pulse because the fact that they got shellacked in Game 5. If the Jets do win Game 5, there is the part of me that gives the impression that the home team is going to win every game of this series. Unless the Blues get out to a fast start in Game 7. Here's the takeaway. Quick shot. That was walked in front and with a broken stick on the ice. If you go back to previous series, where one team wins close games at home at one venue, and then the other team wins some blowouts in the other venue. That was the definition. Oh my goodness! What just happened over at center ice? Morgan Barron fires wide. And I was wondering what in the world happened at center ice as Darren Pang was getting excited. Here's the pass in front. Flooded over Bennington. And here's Barron who holds onto it. Gets turned around by Tucker. Right around to the opposite corner where's Adam Lowry. Fired wide as Barron can't get this one through and over to the left point for Morrissey. Dylan DeMello fires one and is stopped by Bennington and out of play. Oh, this will take us to a break as we go over to the in other news category. Who could have expected Shimon Nema to score a double overtime winner for the Devils after what he's been through in New Jersey? Buried on the depth charts. Seamus Casey getting more minutes than him. But at the moment he steps up to the opportunity, he scores his first career goal in double overtime in what was the longest game for the Devils since they eliminated the Florida Panthers 13 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. Got it. Yeah, to be honest, the Hurricanes didn't play their best game.
No.
I feel like they should have. They had chances to finish it off beforehand, and unfortunately, they let the Devils hang around.
The power play is what got us back into this game, which I'm actually surprised about because our power play has been terrible in the second half of the regular season. But it's what got us back in the third period. And with that, it led us into overtime. But New Jersey played their best game of the series in Game 3, and they were able to hang with us. But the one shot that Freddie lets up in overtime was the one that he barely got a piece of. Those are the goals that you allowed that have to hurt the most.
Yeah.
Oh, and guess who's here? The now retired Patrick Maroon, who is rooting for his hometown St. Louis Blues.
We love ourselves some Pat Maroon.
Oh, plays final seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks, but he cracked a beer open for the boys. A cold one.
Of course. That man was a 3-time consecutive Stanley Cup champion, and it started with the Blues.
The one-man dynasty. Here's a shot. Yep, a one-man dynasty that was crucial on the bottom six between St. Louis and Tampa in all those runs. That confidence is what's sky high for him all the way up. And he even got a double overtime winner, Game 7 against Dallas, burying it behind Ben Bishop after Robert Thomas, who was a third-line right winger at the time, he hit the post. Now Thomas is the top centerman on the Blues. An elite one.
Yeah, Thomas has grown up nicely. I mean, Kyrou, Neighbors. I mean, Doug Armstrong has drafted well. And a lot of those guys are second-rounders.
Gems that Doug Armstrong found in the draft in the early rounds. It's not just Thomas. You also mentioned Neighbors, Kyrou. Yeah. You can also mention about how Zach Bolduc coming into his own on the middle six and being a key net front presence. Oh my goodness, that puck bounced up into the air off of Eric Comrie as the Blues tried to get a sixth goal here. have just fired 20 times on net. And they're leading on the score sheet 5-1. Game may be over, but the Blues are not done scoring goals. Here's Tyler Tucker, who fires around, dumping it in. What a game for Tyler Tucker. And he was the guy who replaced Ryan Suter in the lineup. Suter played all 82 games of the regular season. Was a healthy scratch for 2 straight games in favor of the more physical Tucker. And while Suter does bring the experience around, Tucker brings fresh blood. And he's a seamless fit onto this lineup on the bottom pair. This one from a tough angle went out of play off Binnington. And it's well documented about how well Binnington rises up when a postseason tournament occurs. Stole the game for Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game. And there's Darren Pang, who makes a save. He still got it. Short goalie, but he can still flash the non-existent letter. He flashed his glove hand and caught that one. Still got some goaltending abilities.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. In all the years where he'd be paired with Steve Levy at ESPN in the old version of ESPN. Those years at NBC. And now Brendan Burke at TNT. Halfway in the third. And things are getting a little physical here at both ends of the ice. And the Jets will make some changes as Binnington's out to play this for Colton Parayko. Teammates at Canada's Four Nations Face-Off Championship team. Parayko moves it up and up for Thomas, who fires it around for the boards. Backing up is Luke Shen. He gets tangled up. Snuggerud there. Snuggerud's all tied up. Luke Shen took it away for Josh Morrissey. Morrissey on the breakout. And it's icing. The St. Louis Blues have racked up 174 hits so far in the postseason, second to only the Ottawa Senators. The Senators are facing elimination again. But as much as people want to point out the Maple Leafs 1-12 record in closeout games in the Matthews era, the Senators have never won a playoff series when they are facing elimination. All time. 0 for 24 in franchise history. Here is Hayden Fleury, late addition to the lineup. That takes Logan Stanley out. And here's Jimmy Snuggerud, standout at the University of Minnesota. This fired back inside by the Jets. He picked back up by Falk. Well, now for the Jets, because here's Philip Broberg dancing inside. Overskate the puck. He went right by Dylan Sandberg, who tried to finish a hit. Right around the near corner, and it's Snuggerud. And then a rink-wide pass. That's in front for Neighbors, who gets shoved wide by Sandberg, and the Blues going for the touchdown. Waiting is Parayko right around Connor. Colton Parayko. Stanley Cup champion with the St. Louis Blues in 2019. Tees one up. At the point, it was Cam Fowler. Shen, Thomas, Parayko, Binnington, some of the members of the Stanley Cup winning team. Here's Parayko. Had a one-timer to the left, top of the left circle on the power play. Late in the third period with Hellebuck already pulled. And all the Jets can really do is dump this one down for the ice. Here's Kyrou. The crowd's on their feet because they want the touchdown. And they might get it here. Comrie says no. Well, here's Winnipeg at their own zone with Josh Morrissey. Alexei Torpchenko is watching. Plucked it down. But that was one of the rare rush chances of this game. The hits keep on coming. A hustle for Torpchenko that beats out the Jets. Radek Faksa also there. Longtime Dallas star was now re-signed by Dallas as the Stars wanted to go for Sam Steele. The Jets bench disappointed. The Blues bench elated. That shot went wide. It was held in by Faksa. Around for Torpchenko. Backhands went around. Torpchenko shakes off his man DeMello. Wanted to feed it back, but nothing there. Now back goes Tyler Tucker. Tucker waits. And up for Foxa. St. Louis changing. Games 1 and 2 went the way of the Jets. 5-3 and 2-1. Kyle Connor with back-to-back game winners. Games 3 and 4 went the way of the Blues as Tanev sees a shot kicked out by Bennington. 7-2, the Blues won game 3. Hat-trick from Pavel Buchnevich. And Cam Fowler with a 5-point night. A goal and 4 assists. Robert Thomas with 4 assists. And game 4, seeing the others rise up to the occasion, including Justin Falk and Tyler Tucker. Falk still has a blazing one-timer from the point that he can use to his advantage. And there he did. His one-timer to screen from... And there's a big save from Bennington as he swept away a rebound from what's available for Mason Appleton. And Bodu goes back with Robert Thomas, who chops this one down wide of Hellebuck. Pionk slows the action down and it's collected up by Winnipeg as he wanted to get it out but can't. Bounced up and is recollected. No! Buchnevich overskated. There's 6 minutes to go in regulation. The Blues are on cruise control. 29-22. The shot's in favor of the Jets. 5-1. The Blues lead, though. That's the stat that matters the most. Hellebuck needs to fade away in the playoffs. This is a recurring theme in the last few years. 5:38 left in the third period. And this is that Blues bench. So we go to our last stoppage of this game, we believe.
I gotta tell you, Alec, if you had to ask me who's a player that you feel isn't going to get enough credit for the turnaround of the Blues that should, I would say Cam Fowler. Here's why. I believe it was in December that we traded for him. Actually, before I continue,
yeah, maybe December when you guys got Fowler from Anaheim, and he's been the team's top pairing defenseman that you guys really needed, because that was something that was missing entering the season. But power play quarterback, and he's fit seamlessly next to Colton Parayko.
Right. So we gave up a second-round pick and a prospect. Let me check who that was.
Trying to remember as well, but...
Oh, for a defenseman, Jeremy... I believe it's pronounced Biaka Butuka, and a second-round pick in 2027. That's what we got. That's what we gave up for Fowler. Since then, it's been a fleece because when the trade was made, and Anaheim's still paying 38% of his contract.
That's a fleece and a half.
Yeah. So when we first got Fowler, it was just more veteran depth for the defense. Honestly, a lot of people. Oh, we're back.
Yeah, we are back, but we can still continue going here because the game is already out of hand. But because we can just transform this into something in deeper detail about Fowler.
Right. So, but since he's been there. If I pull up his regular season stats, keep in mind this is for a veteran defenseman who's been in the league. I believe he came into the league not long after the Ducks won their Stanley Cup. So I'm pretty sure he's been in the league for
probably over a decade, I think.
Yeah, for over a decade. Thank you. But if we look at his stats for the year, so just in the playoffs alone as a defenseman, he has 1 goal, 6 assists, and 7 points in 3 games. 5 of those points coming in Game 3. But for the regular season,
I only got his stats with the Blues, and ever since he was acquired by St. Louis, he had 9 goals and 27 assists for 36 points. And his final year in Anaheim was rather unceremonious.
Yeah, 4 assists for 4 points. So in 68 games played this year, he has 40 points.
Ooh, Tyler Tucker is hurt.
Oh God. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, we really need him.
Yeah, his physicality, he doesn't look good getting up, as we're trying to see what led to the injury. He goes for the puck and he tries to evade Brandon Tanev. That might be a concussion. Might be the body weight of Tanev that got him. Ooh, but it might be a concussion. All right, he's getting helped off the ice.
Oh, shoot. It looks like the stick hooks his game sweater. And I think the blade of the stick hooked the game sweater and flung him into the glass.
Ooh. That we're going to step away to be sure that Tucker is okay. Hopefully he gets better in time for the Blues, the remainder of this series, hopefully, that we think. But that did not look good. I initially thought that was going to be a concussion, as he went headfirst towards the boards because of that.
Yeah. Jeez.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not good. What do you call it? Oh yeah. So Cam Fowler, since he got to the Blues, he's been a rock on the defense. He 36 points in 51 games. I mean, he has been great when it comes to dishing the puck and just playing defense.
Oh, yeah. On the power play, even strength, any situation, you name it.
Yeah.
Oh, don't look, but the Knicks and Pistons, in the meantime, they're in a very tight and scrappy matchup. No surprise. Jalen Brunson left the game for a moment due to injury concerns, but he's back into the lineup. He's got 32 so far. It's in the final 46.6 of regulation. Brunson with 32 with 11 assists. Josh Hart has 14 points with 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Karl Anthony Towns with 27 points and 9 rebounds on 10 of 22. And for Detroit, they are led by Cade Cunningham with 25 points, 9 rebounds and 10 assists. So he has 1 rebound away from a triple-double. Jalen Duren has 17 rebounds. As we get back here, Tobias Harris with 18 points, 8 rebounds. And through the far side will be off the glove of Appleton. Not ruled a hand pass. Puck drop for Canes Devils is at 3:50 Eastern Time for those who want to tune into that game. So 2:50 Eastern Time. And up at the near corner, the Blues are trying to go for the touchdown still. Back to the point. Here's Cam Fowler, the guy that you profiled, Ian. He'll deliver down low. With 3:40 to go. Back for Parayko. Deflected in front. Walker sent it wide. Jets scoop it up. Fans are staying here to applaud their team. There's a loose stick onto the ice. And while they don't play Gloria after each win here at Enterprise Center anymore, it'll be lovely to hear Gloria ring onto the Enterprise Center crowd. It's iconic during the 2019 run. It'll be a great day once that's brought back. The Jets President's Trophy winners, but many have talked about the President's Trophy curse being a real thing. There's not been a Stanley Cup winner that has won the President's Trophy in the same season. And Oscar Sundqvist went flying and lost his stick. He slowly made his way onto the bench, but he is in less pain than Tucker. Walker. Moves it up. And now the big question is about what the Jets need to do to get back into the series, because the Blues are firing on all cylinders. But when I listened to the Hurricanes broadcast in Game 2 of Hurricanes Devils, Trip Tracy noted that momentum doesn't exist within a playoff series. It only exists within a game. And the Blues snagged all the momentum in this game. Oh, we have a scuffle after a high hit. We anticipate that Sundqvist is alright, but that was a high hit. And even though there could be something out of this in terms of penalties, it's not going to impact the game that much because it's already been decided with 2:13 to go in the third. 5-1 Blues, there's no chance, I believe.
No. 4 goals in 2 minutes, 13 seconds, no.
There's no chance. Only way it happens is if you play Chell.
Yeah.
And Neighbors is near the penalty box doors, wondering how this is going to get sorted out. And Scott Arnio has that blank expression on the Jet bench. Jim Montgomery, same thing. But Montgomery is still keeping that serious face. It's amazing this turnaround, that is. And the way that Montgomery, he started the season with the Boston Bruins. Depth issues have plagued the Bruins throughout the course of the season. And how much they've fallen off because of the loss of almost all of their goal scoring from their depth lines. And David Pastrnak, pretty much the only one who can score.
So it's 2 instances where the Bruins fired their head coach, and immediately the next team they go to benefits.
Oh, and now we have a scuffle. Well, the Jets are upset. They know they've lost, and everyone's getting at one another. Appleton wants to fight. He's looking for a partner. The officials will not let him. Adam Lowry as well. We had scuffles in all 4 games of this series, and these two are heated with one another. And as One More Time by Daft Punk is playing here at Enterprise Center, you bet they're getting together one more time in terms of scuffles.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy is right. Ejections are handed out. Adam Lowry's day is done. So they're going to determine who is going to be tossed and who gets to stay. But these fans are entertained, and they're happy here at St. Louis to the tune of a 5-1 victory. It's funny how the Bruins, they fire 2 head coaches, and the team that hires head coaches are the benefactor of such. Bruce Cassidy with the Vegas Golden Knights, first year with them, win the Stanley Cup. Jim Montgomery, first year with the St. Louis Blues. Start off slowly, but then with a fast finish, they came soaring through, and they're giving it to the Jets. Hey, even a glove is over at the stands.
Oh, jeez.
It just went up and over.
Oh, that's great.
Someone's getting a souvenir home. Oh my goodness.
Up and Cade Cunningham has a playoff triple-double.
Well, despite the loss, it is a 1-point victory for the Knicks. Cade Cunningham finishes 25, 10, and 10. The Knicks defense buckled down and did not allow the Pistons to get the last laugh. No buzzer beater for the Pistons. It's a 3-1 series lead for the New York Knicks at Little Caesars Arena.
Kind of expected that. Detroit's not ready.
It turns out someone, and people are trying to get that glove. Well, they're trying to play catch of the glove. Well, they say they're trying to throw the glove right back. They got it to the Jet bench. Blues in the power play at the end, and it's cleared down the ice. Well, the Blues are not focused on scoring another power play goal. They're just going to move casually on this flying V up, even though it's not like the Mighty Ducks. And we have a stoppage here for an offside 1:15 left. Not much else here, but playoffs have been a nightmare for Connor Hellebuck. Dominant regular season goaltender. But I noted in one of my playoff recaps that he goes from Dominik Hasek in the regular season to Andrei Pavelec in the playoffs. Ironic, I'm mentioning Pavelec because he was the previous Jets goaltender, and he was bad. Period.
Wow.
Last minute. 5-1 as the Blues are looking to coast home here at Enterprise Center. And towels waving. All sorts of white towels. The energy here is electric. And while the whiteout, of course, is one of the best crowds in the NHL, the Blues home crowd can counter that and can shut down any opposition with all the crowd. If how home crowds can factor into such playoff series, even for a lower seed. Such was the case for the 2007 We Believe Golden State Warriors when they had Monta Ellis and Steven Jackson when they defeated the top-seeded Dallas Mavericks that year when they won 67 games in that year's NBA regular season. Even in different sports, that comparison can ring true. As Nick Leddy and everyone else is holding on to the puck as the one tire fires wide, that's going to do it. Will we see any punches here being thrown at the end of the game? Apparently not. They'll just let this one go. The Blues, after trailing by 2 games, have evened up the series on the Winnipeg Jets headed back to Manitoba's capital.
Yep. And now their sole focus should be to win Game 5. They need to throw everything at Connor Hellebuck. If he plays, I suspect he will play in Game 5. But they need to throw everything at him.
And they have to. I mean, get to the dirty areas of the ice. That's what Jake Neighbors did. What Braden Shen did. What Jordan Kyrou did when he set the screen for Justin Falk. Everyone contributed to this victory. Scoring summary. Kyle Connor from Cole Perfetti and Dylan Sandberg. That was the only goal for the Jets. Ever since it was 5 unanswered for the Blues. Jake Neighbors, career goal number 1 in the playoffs from Colton Parayko and Cam Fowler. Tyler Tucker, career goal number 1 in the playoffs from Nick Leddy and Alexander Texier. Braden Shen from Colton Parayko for the 3rd goal, and Jake Neighbors. Justin Falk from Neighbors and Shen. And to wrap it up, Robert Thomas. What a beauty from Oscar Sundqvist and Pavel Buchnevich. That is your game. Anything else before we wrap this up, Ian?
No. Just, I'm glad the Blues bounced back from 2 very close losses with 2 very dominating wins.
We'll see if they can keep that momentum up. But I am hopeful about the Blues on their chances in the rest of this series. And I promise to some of my friends that if the Blues do win this series, I might as well sing Gloria in the next episode that we'll record. We recorded an episode yesterday, but if the Blues do win this series, I might as well sing Gloria.
It's a nice song.
Yeah, very nice and iconic.
Yeah.
That's
All
it.
right, Alec.
Right. Catch you later, Ian.
Catch you later, man.
Right.
All right.
Have a good
Bye.
day.